This is a Muscle Cat Media production.
Welcome back to Baseball Expats for another week. The gang is all here, and as the formality has been for the last couple of months, if you like the podcast, be sure to like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. And go see the Pool A and Pool B previews of the Under-18 World Cup that Eric and I put together last week. Those have seemingly gotten a little bit of traction, so thanks to those of you who maybe you're along for the first time, and we'll introduce not only Eric to you, but our good friend Spoon and Reese Columbus. Boys, it's good to see you. You're both vertical. It's a good start on a Monday that both of you are vertical, though. I think, Eric, looking at you, you're just vertical. How are we, boys?
It was a big weekend. I did 5 games for ESPN on for the ice hockey, but that's not where the real work was done. Over the weekend, the real work happened after the games, particularly when the championship was won on a Sunday in Melbourne, and then you have a 8 a.m. flight the next day. So, yeah, I mean, there just wasn't a lot of sleep, and there was a lot of watching people celebrate.
So vibes are high is what you're telling me, but energy is low.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of those nights where you have, like, I think the expression was, one for the road, but it turns out it was a long road.
I don't know that
that makes any sense.
I don't know that I've ever seen him. I don't know that I've ever seen him like this before.
No, this is worse than Toronto Maple Leafs blow Game 7. It's a great advertisement to a sober lifestyle, I think. So my weekend was finally quiet, and I guess I'm opposite Eric in that front. But I did wake up this morning at 6 o'clock and think, this is the latest I'm going to sleep in on a Monday for the next 14 weeks, because football season's right around the corner. So, shout out to the Friend Pod as well for those who like their football content, because, it all starts this week.
When we talk next, Spoon, we will be one game into the biggest fantasy football match of the year. It's rivalry week, and you and I, my friend, are rivals. So I look forward to competing against you in a Destiny draft, which we're going to do this week on this show right here today at this, well, not this second, but in a few seconds from now, or, whatever. And the fantasy football. So we're going to be competing against each other in multiple sports, make-believe teams. One that we drafted in a 6-hour extravaganza with a bunch of friends in person, and the other we're going to pick based on a player pool that comes from opening a deck of cards that you have in your hand right there. Both very serious business.
Big week.
I love the fact that Eric essentially drafted his fantasy football team so that he could spite Spoon. It's that basically the entire team is just constructed for no other reason than to beat Spoon with players, majority of players made up from players on his favorite team, the beloved Arizona Cardinals. So, Eric, you mentioned we will do another Destiny draft. I'm going to try my best to pull myself off of the floor and not finish last. But before we do that, in honor of the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, friend of the podcast, hitting his 50th home run and obviously surpassing Salvador Perez. We talked about it last week, passing Salvi as the single-season home run record holder for a catcher. I came with a little bit of trivia, but I'm backing you guys. I think you get this. Do you think you can name the single-season record holder at every position?
Wow. Does that include steroids?
Well, yes.
It does.
Okay.
So like Mark McGwire and Barry Bonds count. And what does Barry Bonds count as? Is he an outfielder or is he a defensive guy?
So I thought you might ask the question. This
guy.
This list has actually been compiled. So the stipulations are that the player didn't have to hit all of those home runs while playing that position, but they did have to play that position at least 100 times during the season in which they eclipsed that record. So, look, you're off to a good start. So first base is Mark McGwire, the 70 that he hit in 1998. Barry Bonds, obviously.
Yeah, catcher's Cal Raleigh.
Barry Bonds, obviously, in left field, the year that he hit 73, 2001. Do you think you can nail the infield? Eric, you should probably know the second baseman.
Donzo and A-Rod.
The second baseman, is it like Rofnet Adura or something like that?
It is not. A-Rod is on the list. In fact,
Or are
A-Rod's
you
on the list
alluding?
twice. A-Rod as a shortstop in 2002, hitting 57 home runs, and then as a third baseman once he went to the Yankees in 2007 at 54 home runs. So A-Rod's actually. It is not Jose Altuve.
There's never been a 40 homer season at second, right?
There has been.
No, there would have been for sure.
It was 2021.
Oh, is it? Give me an era.
2021.
2021.
2021. Oh, Simeon.
Yep. You should have gotten
way.
that.
I don't think that can't be true, can it?
45 home runs, the
Is
most
he the
ever
only
hit.
40 home run season by a second
the most
base?
ever hit by a second baseman.
He had how many? 44?
45.
That's insane. Wow, okay. So 45 is the record. And third base is A-Rod?
Yeah, shortstop and third base are both A-Rod. So you've gotten left field and Barry Bonds. Center field and right field are the two that you're missing.
So where does Aaron Judge fit?
Judge in center?
Center field. Last year, 58 home runs. Who's in right?
Yeah.
Acuna?
Babe Ruth.
It is not Babe Ruth.
What do you mean? Babe Ruth hit 60 homers, and he played right field.
This gentleman hit 66.
Sammy Sosa.
Slamming Sammy Sosa. How about that for his squad? Raleigh at catcher, McGuire at first, Simeon at second. A-Rod's playing both of the positions on the left side of the infield. Bonds in left, Judge in center, and Sammy Sosa in right. For bonus points, there's no chance you're going to get this, but can you name the pitcher who has the single season home run record for pitchers? I don't think there's any chance you'll get it. It was done in 1931.
I actually know this. I actually know this because of an interview that I watched with a comedic actor who credited, I'm not going to get his first name, but I know his last name is Ferrell.
That's it. Wes Ferrell.
Is that
1931 hit 9 home runs.
Wes Ferrell. I would not have got his first name, but I remember clearly listening to a Will Ferrell interview on like some late night talk show where he talked, because remember he did the spring training where he like played every different position and he went to all the different teams and suited up for 9 different teams during the day. He was talking about that, and he was talking about how his like they're not related at all, but as Will Ferrell does make some connection to a Ferrell who owns the record for home runs as a pitcher. I wouldn't have got Wes, but I knew that one.
He's interesting too. So Wes Ferrell came into that 1931
Will
season.
Ferrell?
Wes Ferrell, Will's older brother, much older brother. Came into that season having only hit 1 career home run, and he hit 9 in 1931. He is also the all-time record holder for most home runs as a pitcher in a career.
I'm surprised it's not Shohei.
Well,
I'm surprised it's not Shohei.
I thought Mad Bum had a 10 home run season. Did I make that up? Maybe I did. Maybe
Shohei is on the list, on this list in particular, tied with another individual for the designated hitter spot. Care to guess who he's on that list tied with?
David Ortiz.
Ortiz and Shohei both, with the majority of the time spent at DH, with 54 home runs. Ortiz did it in 06, and Ohtani last year.
Wow.
I think
That's
you guys did pretty well.
I can't believe second base has
Eric carried me.
The least amount of power, and I didn't get that right at all.
Mad Bum had 5.
Pitchers who rake.
I'm looking it up now. Shohei has 10 home runs. 10 home runs in his career as a pitcher when he's being listed as a pitcher.
There you go.
Interesting.
Well, good job, boys. Look, there's a wicked delay on my microphone, so I think we could launch into DD. Spoon, you want to give us an update on where the standings are sitting? Maybe for our new listeners, let them know exactly what it is that we're doing. And I assume because I'm in dead last that I lead us off in the snake draft. Is all of that true?
Yeah. So for first-time listeners to Destiny Draft, we are about to open 2 packs of Topps Series 1 still, 2025, unopened, obviously. And we'll pick there'll probably be about 30 players in those 2 packs. Between the 3 of us, we're going to draft 3 players each. One has to be a hitter, one has to be a pitcher, and the third can be either or as a utility spot. Points are awarded based on the real world performance of these players over the next 7 days. So this time next week, when we're doing our Monday show, we'll be able to recap on the week as it stood. For pitchers, you earn a point for every 2 completed innings over the week. You earn a point for every strikeout earned, and you lose a point for every earned run allowed. For hitters, it's a point for every hit, run, and RBI, and you lose a point for every strikeout. So last week, Eric put up a strong performance. My Skeen Singer sort of double-edged pitching rotation got me over the line for my first win, which moves the overall leaderboard to Eric on top with 8 points and 85 points scored. Spoon and Rolsey tied on 5 championship points, but Spoon with the points for advantage, which, yes, means that Rolsey's in last place and should lead off with the first pick of this week's snake draft. Does that cover everything? We're ready to go?
Open up the cards, baby. I want to see what we got. I'm excited.
Let's do it.
Make sure you hold it nice and close to the mic so I can get the secondhand crinkle.
Ooh. All righty.
What a sound. You need someone good, Spoon?
I've got your. I've actually got your deck from here last week, Rolsey, with McGreevy, Win, and O'Hoppy, and I thought about mailing them to you, but then I thought that might be a little too cruel.
Yeah, throw them away.
Probably put them in the bin instead. Alrighty, pack number 1. We've got Riley Green, Mitch Haniger, Yilba Diaz, Yaina Diaz, the entire Cincinnati Reds team, who are going to be ineligible for integrity reasons.
Well, you just don't want to take them if you just negative points.
Nick Lodolo, Bryson Stott, Ben Rice, Yu Darvish, Dylan Dingler, great name, Ellie Dela Cruz, Christian Yelich, Jake Cave, KBO legend Jake Cave.
Can we get his KBO stats?
And Michael King. Not the best pack, to be honest.
There's a lot of guys in there.
What was that?
There's some guys in there.
Some guys. What was there? There was a couple of starters. We'll do a debrief after pack number 2. Hopefully a little bit more star power in this one. We've got CJ Abrams, a multiplayer card with Scooble and Framber Valdez, which would just also be ridiculously unfair. So that's ineligible.
Can we have both? Can they both be in the draft?
Rizal Iglesias, if Rolsey wants to run his closer theory back, which probably he might be too scarred for that. Blake Perkins, the entire Red Sox team. Jeez. Zach Neto, Seth Lugo, your guy, Eric. Lars Nootbaar, if Rolsey wants to run another failed strategy back of drafting the guys he likes. Ian Happ, Brandon Nimmo, Nolan Shanuel, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Zebby Matthews, and Tristan Cassis. So, yeah, okay. Probably not a lot of all-stars there, but some fringe good guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, Vladdy's the standout right away, and Rolsey has the first pick. So if we're going back to draft strategies past, Rolsey will not take Vladdy, the best player in the draft, and he will go with Lars Nootbaar for sure, number 1 overall. I think we can just get to your picks.
Yeah, what have you got for us, Rolsey?
I mean, you guys joked about Lars Nootbaar, but if you look at his last week, he would have had 17 Destiny draft points. I don't know that I can go hard overhead again. The one worry, I guess, with Toronto, they're going to Cincinnati. Hunter Green's pitching tomorrow. I don't know. Again, we talk so much about. Well, we talk so much about overthinking it and then underthinking it. So I'm just not going to overthink it. I'm going to take Vladdy. He hasn't really had the pop in the last month or so. I mean, what's he sitting at? 20 home runs. Maybe he can get it going down the stretch. Maybe there's a bit of a September power surge coming for Vladdy. So I'm just going to do the right thing, the smart thing, and take Vladdy.
I don't know if it was the smart thing, man. I think we might have got you again. Now you're going to
Eric can corner you now and take 2 of the 3 at the turn.
Your pitchers are gone, right? You're going to get the last choice of pitchers here. That could be your downfall because you didn't choose the guy that could get you the guy that get the dish done.
You could take 2 pitchers.
Also,
at the turn,
no
Eric,
guys.
I
don't think there's any pitchers that we can be confident in that are going to get you positive points. If we're being honest.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. I on that note. It's a coin flip between the 2. I know I'm taking him on against the Jays, which is a little bit scary. The alternative, though, is making a start at Coors. I mean, this is pretty tough. Outings against the Blue Jays and the Mets, or outings against the Orioles. Yeah, no, I've switched back around. I'm going to go Yu Darvish. Orioles and the Rockies, I think, is the matchups I want this week, even though one of them's at Coors.
Yu Darvish has been struggling, my friend. Now, the question is, do I take 2 pitchers? It was a strategy that worked, but again, things haven't been great lately. Oh, God. You're right. There's just not a lot of options here. Do I go Seth Lugo or do I go Nick Lodolo for my pitcher? Who'd you say Lugo's playing this week?
Lugo's got to start against the...
he's been terrible lately, too.
Against the Angels, I think.
He would have been negative points the last...
Yeah, this is not a good rotation to pick from. I mean, Lodolo's good, but I hate the matchups.
Who's he got again?
He's got the Jays and then the Mets.
That might not be as bad as you think.
They're just not big strikeout teams, though.
That's very, very much true. And Seth Lugo
against the Angels, who strike out more than anyone in baseball. Maybe that's the play. But it's going to be 1 start instead of 2.
God, that's very difficult, isn't it? I see where you're... I think maybe Rolsey did make a good choice with Vladdy. Well, one of my guys is going to be Christian Yelich. You have to go there. I think that's a given.
Yep.
The only thing is do you look at someone like Ellie? Like, he can produce, but man, oh man,
those strikeouts.
Like, he's gonna kill you, just like kind of strikeout wise, you know?
Yeah, they could have like what Trout did for you last game.
Yeah, I might try to do a couple things here. If my strategy in fantasy football is to spite Spoon, how can I draft a Destiny draft team to spite Rolsey? What would be the plays here? What would be the Rolsey picks? Nootbaar?
You could take Lars Nootbaar.
That would be a pick. All right. I don't like any of these pitchers at all. So I am going to go. How's Ben Rice doing these days?
He's been good. Even with Stanton back, they've been getting him regular reps by putting Stanton in the outfield or letting him catch.
Yeah, Ben Rice could be an interesting one. This is one of the most tricky Destiny drafts that I think we've had, haven't we?
Yeah.
He just strikes out he strikes out like 3 times a game.
But he also hits home runs.
Yeah. So does
Ellie.
So does Ellie. You know who drives in a lot of runs and doesn't strike out a lot?
Blake Perkins.
A guy, how about picking a dude that has 101 RBIs this season and 138 hits?
Brandon Nimmo, Riley Green.
Riley Green. I think I'm going to go with Riley Green. So I'm going to go a bit different. I'm going to go with Christian, and I'm going to go with Riley Green.
Okay, then I am going to get really weird with this, and I'm going to take Lodolo on the way back and be double starter now, which is going to leave someone in a weird spot.
But you might get negative points out of those starts.
Yeah, but I get negative points out of position players sometimes too. So, like, this is just how I can't get too arrogant off one win last week. I've historically not been a great Destiny draft player. So let's see how that goes, and then Rolsey back at the other turn.
I am going to regret this probably. I mean, I need a pitcher, and I'm going to take it on trust because he's been decent, and his strikeout numbers they've been okay. I mean, 3 starts back against New York, he had 9 strikeouts. The Minnesota Twins are playing the Chicago White Sox in Minnesota this week. Zebby Matthews did not have a good start against the White Sox when they matched up last week. So let's go Zebby to bounce back against the White Sox. Does have 1 9-strikeout performance in his last 5 starts. I'm going Zebby. Let's go Zebby, baby. And then to bring it home, look, I'm just going to take Lars. I think we all knew that was going to happen, right? Zebby and Lars. Vladdy, Zebby, and Lars. That's the team to get me off.
That sounds like a law firm. Vladdy, Zebby, and Lars. I got a firm. I got Christian Riley Green. Spoon, who's your position player?
Yeah, I'm torn between two. I just really want to check who's kind of having the slightly better run recently. I think I'm going to end up landing on the guy who's been. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't have enough pop, does he? I was looking at Blake Perkins, but he's doing very little lately. The other option is Yaina Diaz potentially. I thought could be a play. What's he been doing recently? Also very little. Jeez, this is who do the Phillies play over the next week? They're trying to win a division. I've got the Brewers and then away against the Fish for a long set. They've got the off day though. I want to try and find someone who's going to play a little bit more. The Cubs at the Braves and then the Nationals. That might be me, actually. I think I'm going to go with a guy who hits cleanup and gets a lot of chances to get RBIs. I'm going to take Ian Happ.
Ian Happ it is. All right. What pitchers do I even have an option of now?
Lugo's still there. Lugo, King, or Iglesias. And King's on the IL, so not really.
King might be my most productive guy. No, well, look, I am looking at it now. Raziel Iglesias, I'm assuming we're talking about?
Yes. He did get the save today.
So if we were to look at his last week, between the 24th and 31st, he appeared 3 times. He had 3 strikeouts, 3 innings. So there's 4 points right there. And he allowed 1 earned run. So he would have been a 3-point player. That's
actually how you'll spite Rolsey, is by bringing back the closer strategy and pulling it off effectively.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like Seth Lugo over his last 7 games has an 8 ERA. So he's probably starting. He's starting Wednesday. He could be starting twice. If I had him last week and I had him for 2 starts, I would have had negative. Oh, he struck some dudes out. So 10 points. What would he have had? 5 strikeouts, 3 1/3. So that would have been 1 point. That would have been 6 points. Would have been 2 points. All right, I'm going to go Seth Lugo.
Okay. All right, so that's the team sorted. Team Eric is Christian Yelich, Riley Green, Seth Lugo. Team Spoon is Yu Darvish, Nick Lodolo, and Ian Happ. Team Rolsey is Vladdy Guerrero, Zebby Matthews, and Lars Nootbaar.
Vladdy's the biggest upside there, right? Because he just scores and gets hits. And
he can have a 20-point week, and you wouldn't think twice about it.
Yeah.
Well, I need one.
Yeah.
I think
what
we can
would
all
he have had
agree
last week?
I need one.
Yeah. All right.
Well, cool. Certainly looking forward to Destiny Draft this week. We're going to step aside and take a break. And on the other side, the boys will give you their best tips for the upcoming games this week. Stick with us.
Well, Spoon and Eric, to take you home, we each got a couple picks for the week. We didn't have any picks on Friday, although Spoon did have some picks on the account. Spoon Does Baseball, some good ones on there over the weekend. Spoon, you've got 2, I've got 2. Who wants to go first? Yeah,
I will let you start, my friend, as long as you don't take either of my plays.
Well, for this one, you're going to have to get up early in Australia or check the box score for it, because there's some weird times in the games tomorrow, aren't there? Is it a holiday in the States?
I think we were talking before, Labor Day or something like that.
In Canada as well? Yeah.
Yeah, there's only like 2 or 3 games that are after, coffee time here in Australia.
Well, one of them is the Blue Jays playing the Cincinnati Reds. And Hunter Green is starting in that game, so it's kind of looking all right. He's going against Chris Bassett, who is so bad on the road, dude. He's got a 6.10 ERA on the road this year and gives up almost 2 homers per 9 innings on the road. He's unbelievable at home, but he's on the road. Now, the Jays, I was tempted by because they are over double money just to win. But the Jays have been playing 500 ball in the last month now, so they're kind of middling. The Reds making a push, and they got their guy, Hunter Green, on the mound. Don't want to take the Reds either, but I like some of the markets in this. So I am just flat out looking at the Reds over 4.5 runs, 5 runs or more at 225. I think there's good value in that. It's over double your money. You're going against a starting pitcher that has a 6.10 ERA on the road. The Jays can still find a way to win that, and the Jays bullpen has been heavily taxed over the weekend. They used them a lot in their game versus the Brewers today. Now it's going to be a quick travel day, and on top of that, they're playing an afternoon game. So I think it's kind of prime positioning for the Jays to get shelled a little bit here. They still might win the game, but I'm going Reds over 4.5 on the team total at 225.
I like it. I think it's the second most run-friendly environment in baseball as well. Second or third, obviously, Coors is first, and it's either Boston or Cincinnati. I think that fluctuates between second. So there's definitely runs to be had in that ballpark. And we talked about the Bassett home and away splits a little bit a couple of weeks ago in a start where he was at home. It's going to be interesting to see how he responds in against a pretty brutal lineup of hitters.
Yeah, that's my thinking. What about you? You want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next. One of mine, if you get up at 5:40 here in Adelaide, you'll be able to tune in. I'm looking at the Phillies and Brewers series. It's probably the most exciting series, I think, to watch this week, given, Brewers probably have the Central on lock. The Phillies don't have the East on lock yet by any means. So they're still relevant games between two division-winning hopefuls. Jacob Misiorowski, right? 3 or 4 weeks ago, just before the All-Star break, they pulled him right back in pitch count, and then they started to ramp him up again really carefully coming out of the All-Star break. So he only threw 54 pitches in his first start since the break against the Reds. Then he threw 78 pitches against the Cubs. Last week against my D-backs, and I watched the start, he threw 93 pitches. He struck out 10. He looked unbelievable. Arizona are 10th in baseball for strikeout prevention this year, and to strike out 10 effortlessly really caught my attention. He goes against a Phillies team tomorrow that are 9th in baseball for strikeout prevention, so right around that exact same mark. And you can get 7 or more strikeouts for him at $2.20, which I thought was really good value given he's trending now again the right way, just like he was before they sort of cooled him off a little bit. And if you do remove 1 or 2 of those rough kind of outings for him where I think his momentum was interrupted, he does look like he's just putting together a phenomenal rookie season as a young starting pitcher. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty excited to tune into that one. There is obviously swing and miss there for the Phillies. I watched the game today, and Waldrop managed 9, as a sort of pretty fresh starter himself. So I think there's value there at 220. I'm happy to play that way.
Yeah, I like that, and especially if he's looking good in form too. Normally, these kids get hot and they just keep rolling into starts. So,
his strikeout rate on the road 11.1 K per 9. His strikeout rate at home 15.1 in 5 starts.
I always like looking at those splits home and away too, because it can say a lot when you're handicapping this stuff. And it's the same for my last pick as well, and that's taking a look at the Rays and the Mariners, and it's the Rays and the Mariners home and road splits that I'm looking at here. So I think there's going to be some runs scored in this game too, a Labor Day run fest. So Shane Baz, who will start for the Rays, he's got a 5.19 ERA, and he walks 3.4 per 9 innings. On the other side of things, Luis Castillo on surface value has the 3.75 ERA, but in his last 13 innings over his last 3 starts, he's allowed 14 runs. On the road, he's got over a 5 ERA, which is where they will be here. So I like one thing, and that's over 8.5 runs. Now, I also like the Rays to carry a bit of momentum from a good weekend versus the Nationals, and I like them to win another game here. The Seattle Mariners aren't playing dominant baseball. Like, no one's really running away with this thing. They're kind of winning one, losing one. I think there's a chance. I'm basically betting, as you like to do your bets on pitchers who dominate, and then you can get some value because they're striking out 7. You couple it with the team win. I am banking on Luis Castillo struggling again on the road, and then you pair that with the over, which is 8.5, because I think both will allow. And if he's going to struggle on the road, it goes to think that probably his team's going to lose. So if you can get the Rays win with over 8.5 runs at 3.75, I think that's a nice little one of those sweeping long shot ones. You put a unit on and you almost cover any other losses right away.
Yeah, I do love when you throw one of those on our 4-game slate, because you're right. You've had success with them a few times already, and right around that price, it does buy us insurance over all other plays, and then it's just sort of house money the rest of the way if we can pick something up in the 180 to the 220 range, which is usually a bit more close to home as far as where we play.
Yeah.
Mine for the last one, I couldn't believe I was just chatting to you guys about this when we first started before we were recording. Originally, I was thinking, here's a perfect setup. Dylan Cease at home against the Orioles. I'm going to go in and I'm going to find a 6.5 line, but I'm going to be able to get, the 8+ at like 240, and that would make me quite happy. Instead, what I found from our friends at PointsBet was a line of 8.5 where I can take the under at $1.80. Look, I know I'm taking on a guy who's done that 7 out of 27 starts this year, a quarter of the time. And I know I'm doing it against a team that are striking out a lot in the Baltimore Orioles, who have kind of got nothing left to play for. But it just doesn't stack up to me, a guy with an ERA near 5 who is sort of rocks and diamonds all year. 8.5 is a line that we've barely seen from anyone all year, no matter how good they've been. You'll barely see it from Skubal. He's usually 7.5. Rarely see it from DeGrom. It doesn't really sort of serve what the season as a whole has looked like for Dylan Cease, which has been a really patchy sort of year. So to get $1.80, it's not quite the sexiest price, but under 8.5, a lot has to go right to be picking up a strikeout nearly every 10 pitches. A couple of good ABs or one rough inning, and all of a sudden that bet is looking quite unlikely. So I'm happy to take the under here and trust the Orioles to at least have some productive ABs.
What is the under? Because I'm looking on Bet365. It's not even listed
right now.
They haven't posted
it yet. It's $1.80 for the under if you take the 8.5 with PointsBet right now, or you can get $2.30 about the under 7.5 with SportsBet, which is kind of where I was originally thinking. But 8.5 on an under at $1.80, I'm just going to take it.
It's weird looking at that line too. I'm looking at Kyle Bradish's line from that game, and the over-under line is 4.5 strikeouts, and he's gone 10, 4, 9, 6, and 11 in his last 5 starts. So I don't know much about him, to be 100% honest, but that kind of draws some. That at least is like a bookmark to be like, maybe monitor this guy.
Bradish over into Cease under as a little same game multi for those inclined to play that way, especially given there's like 3 games sort of watchable tomorrow as far as time zones here in Australia. If you want to squeeze a little bit of extra value, that might be the way to go.
So we're going Mizorowski 7+ strikeouts at 210. The Reds over 4.5 runs at 225. The Rays win and over 8.5 game total runs at 375. And Cease under 8.5 strikeouts at $1.80. Did I summarize that one okay?
Yeah, 220 for the Mizorowski, but other than that, that's spot on.
I like it. That sounds like a nice little ticket and something fun to watch on Monday. And we have our Destiny draft to round out the week and the Under-18 World Cup starting on the weekend. What a good week of baseball, gentlemen.
Good week of football too, hopefully, for those who drafted some very average players a couple of weeks ago.
The tennis is wrapping up at the U.S. Open this week. It's in the second week. It's the first week of finals in Australia in the major codes. Baseball's back. Well, baseball's been back a while, but you know what I mean. Baseball's rolling, and football is back. So this is an excellent week for sport, I think. We've survived this summer.
Yeah, I think March and September have got to be the 2 best sports months of the year.
Have to be. Well, Spoon and Rolsey, it was great chatting to you today. We don't have any final thoughts. This is where I'll say farewell to everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. Go listen to those Under-18 World Cup previews. We'll have another show on Friday where Spoon and I will give you a couple picks and update you on the Destiny draft. And then on Saturday or Sunday, we'll see how the schedule and rain permits. Rolsey and I will jump on and break down the first couple days of play at the Under-18 World Cup here on XBET. Gentlemen, everybody at home, have a great week, and we'll enjoy your sport.
Sweet.